And I really feel like I shouldn't be telling this story in the airport because it's literally giving bad vibes, but I've never followed the rules, so let's get into it. Being in the airport has reminded me of course, another true crime. It's one of Australia's most horrific, heinous crimes ever committed. So, what looks like an ordinary moment at Sydney Airport would later become haunting evidence. CCTV captured 20-year-old Carly Pierce Stevenson and her 2-year-old daughter Candice boarding a flight. At the time, it seemed routine, but this footage would be the last time they were ever seen alive. And this is when it gets dark. So, Carly grew up in Alice Springs, Australia. She was young, independent, and described as a devoted mother. In 2008, she started a relationship with Daniel James Holdham, a man with a very violent past and mounting financial problems. Now, shortly after that airport footage, Carly and her daughter disappeared for years. No one knew what happened. Friends and family received texts and Facebook posts that looked like they came from Carly, but they were part of something much darker. Now, investigators later discovered that Holdham had murdered Carly in New South Wales, Belanglo State Forest. The same forest, actually, that was once linked to the infamous backpack murders. And her body was left there in 2008. Not long after that, it was discovered that he had also killed her daughter, and her remains were found in a suitcase alongside with some clothes and a handmade quilt dumped on a remote South Australian highway. And it wasn't until 2015 that the suitcase was actually found. And for months, the police had called her simply the suitcase girl until it was obviously identified as Cavalese. Now, why did Holden do this? Such a horrific crime. And the court heard that his motive was partly financial. Carly's identity was stolen shortly after her death. With help from others, Holden used her phone, bank accounts, and Centrelink benefits. He strung along her family with fake messages, making them believe she was alive while draining her money. It was cruel deception layered over brutal violence. And in 2015, DNA finally connected the suitcase remains to Carly. And in 2018, Daniel James Holdham pleaded guilty to both murders. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Now, the Sydney Airport CCTV remains a chilling final image, a mother and daughter walking through a terminal and unaware that their lives would soon end and their identities were about to be stolen, which is just absolutely crazy. This is one of Australia's most haunting true crime cases ever.